Hey everybody, it's Cindy, and today I have a video for you where I'm going to walk you through a system that I use when I am trying to create a lot of scrapbook layouts in a hurry. So if I'm doing an album for someone else, or if I am trying to get a lot of very similar, not terribly important photos scrapbooked in a hurry, or if I want to maintain continuity throughout an album, like in a baby album or a child's album. This is the layout system I use sort of as the base of my album. So let's say I'm doing a kids album and I have a lot of pictures that are really great special pictures, like a Christmas program or, just a really close-up candid shot. I could have all of those pictures where I'm going to do really artistic, mixed media type of layouts because that's what I do. But the other things, like the school pictures, which some of them, as we know, just don't turn out that great, or pictures where it's a class picture or a group activity where your kid really isn't the focal point. But I want to maintain those. I want to keep those in the album because it's important to show those moments, but they're not really all that special. They're just going to show the progression of time. So when I have those kind of pictures, I use one specific layout, and I use the same layout altered slightly throughout the album. So let's say all 12 years of a kid's school, or all the class trips, something like that. I'm going to use the exact same layout. I came about this layout because I became really, really interested in the concept of phi. It's golden ratio. It's a mathematical construct. Yes, I'm a total nerd. It relates to the Fibonacci sequence. It's a ratio that exists in nature a lot. So in seashells, in the petals of a flower. I'm trying to think of some other examples. But I became really fascinated with this concept. And as soon as I got it into my head what it was and how it worked, I realized I could apply it to scrapbooking. So that's the background of where this came from. And if you divide 12 inches, which is, the standard scrapbook page, divided by 1.618, you get roughly 7 5 inches. And when you use that mathematical formula, so to speak, for your layout, you very quickly and very easily create some really dynamic pages that can be adjusted and switched up. But because they're so very similar in layout with minor adjustments, they give a concept of continuity throughout the album. So now I'm going to walk you through from start to finish creating one of these layouts, and in this case I'm going to do a layout where I'm going to add the pictures later. So this may be for a baby album, right, where you're going to have 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or an album that you want to create ahead of time for someone that you're going to give to someone who has a child who's in elementary school or getting ready to graduate or something. So they're going to do kindergarten, first grade, second grade. It's going to be very basic, very simple, and it's going to be tailored so that it could be for pretty much any event. And I'm going to be using the Echo Park For the Record 2 collection. So I think I'm going to start with, I'm going to use this, which is my favorite go-to black cardstock, which is Basil. I think it's called Blackberry Swirl. It's my favorite. I don't use anything else hardly. And this is going to be for the photo mats. And then I think I'm going to use these 2 pages right here for the layout. And let's see. Then I will probably use something from the sticker collection, which I'm absolutely thrilled to find out that this one also is matte. There's no shine to these, no obvious shine to these stickers. So we're going to use that, and then possibly something from this as far as letters go. Or I might just use the Little Moments title. Might do that. I like this. I think I'm going to use this and pop it up on Pop Dots. And I'll make a little embellishment cluster with the stickers just to make this go even faster. Now if you're making your own embellishments, this will take longer. If you're going to do it the way I'm doing it, this is going to be basically a 15-minute layout start to finish, not counting my rambling here. Okay, so I'm going to save that, set that off to the side, and I'm going to use, like I said, these 2, and the backs of those look like this, so I may use a little bit of this too. I haven't decided yet. And then I'll go ahead and put these all out of the way because we're not going to use any of these. So basically you need 2 sheets of cardstock pattern paper, double-sided, because we could use this. And then you need some embellishments, some letter stickers, and then a solid cardstock or another pattern of similar pattern that's a lot less busy. So a very plain pattern, a very neutral sort of pattern that coordinates. I'm going to use black because I think black really grounds a page, especially when you're using it as the photo mats. So I'm going to use black to act as the grounding influence and as the photo mat. Then possibly I might put a layer on top of the black of another pattern. I haven't decided yet. And then we'll use those. So we'll get started, and we're going to make the base first. And the base is easy. You need 1 full-size sheet, whatever one you want to use is your full size. I'm going to use this great polka dot that's a little distressed around the edges. And you need 1 pattern. Now these go together pretty well. It's probably definitely going to be more of a feminine sort of a layout with the flowers, but it could still be useful for a lot of different occasions. Okay, so first I'm going to cut out the branding strip. Yes, I know I use my trimmer upside down. I'm left-handed. It's the only way it works. I've gotten that comment a lot. Okay. I'm going to do that. So there's my branding strip. I don't know why that's stuck there. Okay, so this is just the same, just 12 by 12. Don't do anything else other than cut the branding strip off. And then I'm going to cut this down to 5 inches. Okay. And I'm going to save this because I may use this as part of the border strip or something similar. And I know I'm going to do 4-inch by 6-inch photos on this. I decided that ahead of time to make it really usable for a lot of different occasions. And that's a pretty general size. So I'm going to cut this to 4.5 by 6.5. There's that one. And then 4.5. And this is a great time to use up your scraps if you have them. I unfortunately have used up all my little scraps of my favorite black by 6.5 again. So I had to give it a full sheet out. Okay, and then I decided I am definitely going to mat this. Let's see. I could either mat it inside, so the yellow kind of shows and it's a background, or I could mat it on this, which is what I think I will do. I kind of like that. Or do I like that better? That acts better as a grounding sort of an influence. So I think I'll do that. So I'm going to cut this down to, let's see if I even have enough to do it. I do. Okay. So I'm going to cut this down to 4.25. And I'll cut the length here in a minute. And then 4.25 again. Get that out of the way. Okay, and now it'll be to 6.25. So you want it to fit inside this nicely. And then 6.25 again. So if you get a 4 by 6 inch print from Shutterfly or whatever, or you print it on your own, the 4 inches by 6 inches is going to fit nicely inside there, and then that's going to look really great counterbalanced on that. So there's our photo mats. That takes like 3 minutes. Okay, so now we have done all the cutting we're going to do for now. Get that out of the way, and I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to decide how I want my layout to go. Now the great thing about this is from this point on it goes together in about 5 minutes. Your layout's done, but you can tweak it just a little bit and make it look entirely different. So Here's one possible layout. There's one possible layout. There's one. There's another where you could have something at the top and this at the bottom. And then the final one is just to put this right in the middle. So you get basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 configurations using just the 5-inch strip on a 12 by 12. But they're close enough to being all the same size and all the same general layout that it's going to maintain that consistency and that continuity throughout your album. But I think in this case I am going to either use it up to the side or possibly up and down. I'm just going to see really quick where my photo mats are going to fit best, and I'll line them up on the wider side. That's what 4 by 6 fits perfectly right there. And I think I will go ahead and turn this so the page is at the bottom, maybe on the right. I don't think so. I think I liked it best with the vertical photos. It's more of a portrait rather than a landscape photo. Yep, definitely this way. This is the way I like it. This is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to ink the edges of all of my cardstock and pattern paper. Now the reason I do this is because just that little bit of black around the edges doesn't really show very much once you get it layered, especially on that Blackberry Swirl cardstock. But that little bit of the edge gives it that finished look. For one thing, it covers up the core. Most pattern paper has a white core, and when you cut it, it's not something that you can see really definitely, but there is that slightly unfinished edge that you get because that white shows through. So when you put that ink layer around the edge, and it's really thin, you can just barely see it. When you put that ink edge around there, it covers up that white core, and you just can't see it anymore. It kind of blends in. Now when you do it on a piece of paper that is has been trimmed down like that floral paper, which I'm going to do here in a minute, when you do it on pattern paper that isn't going to be layered on the back of something, it gives it just a little hint of a shadow against the other paper that it's layered against. So in this case, it's going to give it that little hint of a shadow, and it just makes it look overall finished. So now I'm going to go ahead and mount the yellow paper onto the black cardstock. Oops, I almost forgot to ink my edges there. So I'm going to go finish that and layer it on the black cardstock. And once again, I'm just inking the edges. It's really quick. It doesn't take very long to do all 4 edges. Even on the bigger sheets, I'll be able to go faster with layering it on because you can just slide it down. You don't have to worry about getting that white core hidden because on the blue paper we didn't trim much. And I don't know if you can see it there or not, but that inked edge, even of the black cardstock where you trim it down, it seems to me unfinished just a little bit, and I don't know what it is. I know the Blackberry Swirl has a black core, so it's not like there's anything showing through there, but I go ahead and ink the edges of everything. Once I start with one piece of paper, I do them all. So while I'm inking up the remaining edges of the photo mats and then the 2 bigger sheets of paper, I'm going to talk about the next step, which is to add the border. Now the border is one of those places where you can make minor adjustments that make the layout look slightly different but still maintain that continuity of the same very similar layout throughout the whole album. So in this case, after I get done inking them, I'm going to choose a border, and I'm either going to put it above or below the top line of where the 2 pattern papers join. Now the really cool thing about that is that if you put it above the line where they join, or right against the line with the border strip slightly above and kind of encroaching onto the blue pattern paper, it's going to make that 5-inch section look slightly wider. Where if you put it below that joining line so it covers up more of the floral pattern paper, it's going to make the floral pattern look slightly smaller, and then that blue polka dot will look wider. Even though technically it's the same exact size, it gives that visual impression of a wider space because the border takes up a little bit of room either more on one or more on the other. And that's another one of those times where it's just a really simple little addition, and it definitely helps make every album or every layout in your album look slightly different but still the same, if that makes any sense at all. So now I've gone ahead and glued down the bottom strip, and I am going to go pick out my border strip, and I'm going to use, I think, the black one, because that's that grounding influence again that I want to achieve, and then it also repeats the black from the cardstock that I put on the photo mats. So here's where I'm trying to decide if I want it to be a little bit above the line or a little bit below the line, and then I'm going to decide where I want my scallops to be. So if I put my scallops down, it's going to draw your eye down, just because your eyes are visually going to follow the direction of the scallops. If I put my scallops down, you're going to look down towards that pattern paper, where if I put my scallops up, it's going to kind of direct your eye towards the photos above, because your eye is going to naturally follow the direction of the scallops. So when I put the photos up above, I'm going to put those scallops pointing towards the photo. It's something small, it's something simple, and it's very, very subtle, but it works. And then I'm going to go ahead and mount my photo mats down, and I'm going to try and get them so they're basically the same distance away from the edges, instead of centering them directly in the middle. I think that gives it just a little bit more visual interest. So I will line up the one on the right and get that kind of where I want it without gluing it down first, and then I will use that same distance from one side to line up the other one from the other side on the left. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but you will probably notice a difference in the sound quality over the last 4 to 5 minutes. For some reason, I lost one of my audio clips and had to go back and record it, so most of the video is not a voiceover, but this one little section is. I generally record my audio and video at the same time, but using 2 different pieces of software to get the best quality. But when I lose a clip, it is noticeable, so I thought I'd mention it. I think I want 1, 2, 3.5 rows showing here. So I'm going to do the same, and I'm going to line it right up along that top. There we go. Go ahead and stick this one down as well. And you'll notice on the photo mats, I don't necessarily go all the way to the edges, because I might want to tuck something behind there as far as embellishments go. So 1, 2, 3.5. Line this up, just like that. Something like that. Okay. So there we have this basic layout. Now if you decided you had landscape instead of portrait pictures that you wanted to put in here, you could just turn it this way, put it this way, and then the shape of the scallop there points down to the picture, same thing, just like that. Okay, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to create a little cluster of embellishments and a title, and it's going to be a really basic title that I can add pictures to later. So I think I'm going to use this, because it's got the black, so it's going to repeat that element. And I can't decide, I think I want it here. So I'm going to repeat that black, which is a grounding influence on the page. And it's also going to repeat the yellow. Okay. And then I think I'm going to take this, because this picks up on that kind of aqua. And I'm going to put that up on dimensionals. Where are they? There they are. I knew I had some out. Okay. And I'm just going to slap these down on here. It does have adhesive already on it, but I'm going to use the embellishments to kind of make it a little bit more interesting and give some depth to the page. My fingers are stuck to it terrible. There we go. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to put this right here. Yeah. Go ahead and peel these off. Okay, one more. Maybe two more. Oh, three more. I can't count. Okay, so this is gonna go right here, just kind of tucked over the up a little bit right there. Okay. And now let's see if I can find something else that I might tuck back there as well. I kind of have a circular thing. I want to draw the eye up the page, so I'm probably going to use these. Now the great thing about doing a double photo mat is you have a little bit of room to play. I'm going to use these to draw the eye down to my title. Right there. And then maybe a slightly larger one gets tucked back in here. Continue that down. And I think I'll pop these up as well. In fact, I think I might pop them all up. Okay. Okay, so let's see. Use that right there. Come back in. Pull this up. Put a dimensional on this one. Need a smaller dimensional. Here we go. Okay, these are just foam squares. There you go. Perfect. And now the same thing here. Okay. Now that draws the eye down across there, and I'm going to need something else right here. This draws the eye down here across the page, and then I'll probably tuck something else like this would be good up here, so you can add that little. I think it looks better this way. So that'd be a perfect place for a date. And I'll trim this off. Okay. And then I can tuck this right here. There we go. So I've got something here where you could write a date. It draws the eye across the photos down to this little cluster of embellishments where the title is. I think I need something else right here. Let's see. Maybe this little guy. Since we have so much of that aqua and that teal, we'll pop him so we can kind of reinforce that navy color. There we go. And then maybe the yellow one as well, which we can put also right here, kind of tucked under the navy one. There we go. That looks cute. Okay. So I think I can call this done. Now I could, if I wanted to reinforce that green, I could bring this in, this strip, but I don't think I've got enough with the green there to do that. I think maybe I want something right here with this. Something that's pretty basic. Not yellow because there's a lot of yellow there, so maybe this little one that says memories, that can go right here, tucked under, and kind of at an angle, right there. There. So you've got something up here for the date, and then this little thing draws your eye down the page, and then a little cluster right here and a little cluster right here that reinforces the rest of that. And I think I will call that done now. So as you can see, this is a system that lets you create a lot of layouts very quickly. If I hadn't rattled so much and taken up so much time talking, I probably could have had this done in 10 minutes. It's easy to adjust just by where you put the border and where you put the 5-inch strip, whether it's in the middle, top, side, whatever. Rotating it or flipping it horizontally is a really good way to add variety from page to page when you're going to be doing a lot of these same layouts. It's simple, it's a good way to use up your stickers, and it goes really fast. So if you're trying to create a baby album or something for someone very quickly, or even for yourself because you want to get through a lot of photos, you feel like you're behind in scrapbooking, I think nobody should ever feel behind on their scrapbooking. I think anything you get done is a bonus that wasn't there before, so you should never feel that stress. Scrapbooking is supposed to be pleasing and relaxing and enjoyable, so don't get all stressed out about it. If you liked this video and found it helpful, or if you want any more information on this, you can refer to my blog post that will be posted on sostinkingcrafty.wordpress.com, and give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like this video so you can be notified when we have a new video posted. Thanks, and have a good day.